WJR. You remember yesterday here on the Frank Beckman Show, we told you about the Chamber of Commerce initiative over in Dearborn in an attempt to line up veterans coming back from the Iraq and Afghanistan wars to jobs here in Metro Detroit. And you always wonder about these sorts of initiatives, how many jobs are actually followed up on and how many of these veterans land jobs. A good number do. They get calls back for interviews. But we are told that it is rather rare that someone is hired on the spot. Brian Gertel from the U.S. Chamber sent us an email last night, said thanks again for the great coverage of today's event. We had a company hire 2 Iraq veterans on the spot. And he said this doesn't happen at all of our fairs, and he thought this was rather rare. The company that hired Jason Bannon, an Army vet, and Matthew Parker of the Marines, was Asset Control Services based out in Kego Harbor in Oakland County. Dave Ackerman is Vice President of Operations for the company, and Dave joins us on the other end of our line. How are you?
Real good. How are you doing?
Good, good. They were a little bit surprised. They said this doesn't happen all the time. Were you surprised to find talent right on the spot?
We weren't surprised. We were very happy. We found exactly what we were looking for, and we're going to be following up with some more interviews coming up next week.
What does Asset Control Services do, Dave?
We are a private detective agency, and we specialize in insurance claims. So a lot of surveillance and background checks and stuff of that nature.
So tell me how the military background fits in with what you do and why that's such a benefit to you.
Primarily the attention to detail. Guys and ladies who have served in the military, that's one thing that's always was, if you'd say beat into our heads from day one, was the attention to detail. And in our job, it's extremely crucial to watch everything, to be aware of everything, and to document everything. So the attention to detail is huge for us. And then, of course, just the work ethic that comes with most people that have served in the military. You're going to get somebody that's going to be to work on time. They're going to put in an honest day's work. They're going to present themselves professionally. And it's just everything an employer would look for as far as just a general skill set veterans tend to have. And then, of course, the attention to detail and the ability to perform the job in some adverse conditions, that fits right up with what we do.
Dave, have you focused on veteran hiring in the past?
Actually, yes. Our company, it's a smaller company, but we always look for either young men and women coming out of college in the criminal justice field or military veterans. We find that both work real well for us. And about half our staff right now are veterans, anywhere from the Vietnam era to the Cold War era, right up until, the most recent Afghanistan and Iraq wars.
Right. So this job fair that the Chamber put on yesterday was right in your wheelhouse.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that's terrific. And overall, what was the turnout like? Was it good?
I thought it was real good. I know that the numbers, they said 1,200 attendees, and I can believe that. We were pretty constant talking to people at our table from start to finish. The facility was beautiful. They had some interview rooms off to the side where we could talk to people in private and actually conduct the on-site interview. So the facility, the people that ran it, it was just fantastic, and it just worked out real nice.
Now, let me ask you this. You said your expectation going in was to hire people on the spot. You were hoping to find some qualified people immediately right there and sign them up. Did you get the sense that the vets and their spouses who were there expected the same, or did they come in with lower expectations?
I think I'd have to say that was a little bit mixed. I know there were some folks that seemed a little hesitant and that seemed to be in the just checking out the booths mode. They would walk by, introduce themselves, hand off the resume, move on to the next booth. And I think they were just looking at it as a chance to get the resume out there. But some of the people there stood right there and very professionally yet aggressively talked to you about positions and talked to you about what they can do for your company. So it was kind of a mix, and it was nice to see that there was men and women there who were ready to go right now and looking to be hired.
Well, what did Jason and Matthew say that put it over the top for them?
It wasn't really one word. It was just the way they presented themselves. It was what I would expect being a veteran myself. They were put together. They presented themselves well. Good eye contact, firm handshake, and expressed an eagerness about the job, not just what can you do for me, but what I can do for you. And this sounds like an exciting opportunity. I really want to look into this. And in fact, when Matt came, after he talked to us initially, he walked around and he came back and he talked to one of the other guys at the booth, and he says, I just can't get your company out of my head. I really want to talk more about this. And so we walked over and did an on-site interview with him. And it's just that, again, everything an employer looks for or where we look for, they had, but they also had that drive and that eagerness to make it happen. And we like that. We want people that want to be with us, too.
Final question, because we hear so many of these job fairs that go on, and we never know, do they work? Do people get jobs out of this? And now we see, it really happens. In the real world, it happens. What's your advice for employers and for those seeking jobs at these fairs?
Employers, I can't stress enough that the quality of applicants you're going to find in the veteran community is top-notch. Of course, everybody has different needs for what they're looking for, but the military has every job specialty, every experience level you could ever imagine. Every demographic you can imagine can come out of the military, and these men and women have done a great thing serving their country, and I think we owe it to them to at least give them a chance, to give them that look, to try to give them a position. And for veterans, just keep pounding it. There's plenty of jobs out there, and hit everything you can, because your hard work will pay off.
Well, Dave, thanks for what you did here. Congrats to you, and especially to Jason and Matthew for getting the jobs yesterday at that fair, and Asset Control Services, the company. Dave, nice to talk with you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care. Now, Dave Ackerman is the Vice President of Operations at Asset Control Services, and they're located in Keego Harbor, hiring a couple of veterans on the spot yesterday at that job fair, the Military Veterans Job Fair we told you about here on the Frank Beckman Show, always keeping you the best informed audience in all of radio.